Hey y'all, today I wanted to do something I talked about in another video, tarot myths. So, I have 13 of them. Ooh, good number. And there may be others, so if y'all think of some more, hit me up in the comments and we'll talk about them. Just so you know, I'm also running a contest. When I hit 777 subscribers, I'm going to do a giveaway. I'm going to give away a half-hour reading, a 15-minute reading, and a tarot deck. So if you already subscribed, you're in the running. Tell your friends if you want to get the contest going sooner. Ha! So, tarot myths. Myth number 1. The age of tarot. Tarot has been rumored to be as old as the pyramids, connected to Egypt, connected to Atlantis, connected to Mu. No real hard facts on that I can find. Seems to have begun with the first mention of tarot as a mystical tool by Antoine Court de Gebelin. I'm sorry. Not saying his name very well. De Gebelin was a French occultist who linked tarot to ancient Egypt. Can't talk today. But this was in his book that was published in 1781. Many other major influences in tarot also followed him. This includes Eliphas Levi, Arthur Edward Waite, and even Aleister Crowley. There's simply no factual basis for this. There is evidence of the cards being used for divination as early as 1540. We have a book called The Oracles of Francesco Marcolino da Forti. And Casanova mentioned in his infamous diary that his Russian mistress often did divination with a deck of cards. Playing cards most likely. What we do know for fact is that the first known tarot deck, what we know today is 78 cards, and I think it wasn't even 78 cards then, can be traced to Italy, 15th century, between 1410 and 1430 in Milan, Ferrara or Bologna. We're not sure which one. This first deck was when an artist added trump cards, or carte de triomphe, or triumph cards, featuring faces of the Visconti and Sforza families as wedding gifts. So, and that's the Marseille style decks. If you actually look at the old Visconti Sforza or the Cary Visconti, you will see that the faces were actually portraits of those two families as they merged. If you were a fan of, I think it was on Starz, the Borgias, one of the first, maybe by the 4th episode, 1, 2, or 3 episodes, they show the Borgia family playing tarot or playing tarocchi. Tarot myth number 2. The gypsies invented tarot. 1. The word gypsy can be seen as a derogative term. I urge you to use Rom or Romany unless it's within your own family and you know that it's an okay thing. I've been told, I've read that the gypsy term is, it comes from being Egyptian, is where they think that diminutive comes from, but it's considered a slur, so be careful with it. Historical information and Rom tradition indicates that their point of origin was somewhere in India, the Romany, which precludes them from inventing tarot. However, the nomadic nature of their tribe did help spread the tarot. There's an interesting Romany timeline. I'll give you a link to it if it's still available. I'm reading off an old webpage that I did, and this link is to GeoCities. Yeah, I've had the web up for a while, y'all. So, Romany, maybe not, but they definitely, I think, spread it. Most Roms, I believe, are more apt to read with playing cards than they are with tarot cards. And they have a pretty specific, what I know as the gypsy spread or the Romany spread, is 3 rows of 7 cards across. And you read it up, down, sideways, and back and forth. I may be exaggerating. Oh, did I tell y'all? I'm Arwen of Taro by Arwen. I probably skipped right over that. I just feel so comfortable with you. Myth number 3. The church banned tarot. Sort of. The Catholic Church actually banned tarot cards along with playing cards, known as the Devil's Picture Book, dice, and board games in the 16th century, primarily because they could all be used for gambling and not because of some magical secrets. The Christian Bible does have passages against divination of any type. A much used passage is Deuteronomy 18 verses 10 through 12. I'll let y'all look it up since I forgot to write it down. That, Arwen. Tarot myth number 4. You must be psychic to be a tarot reader. Patently false. Absolutely false. I know fabulous readers who will deny psychic ability to the day they die. They don't believe in it. It doesn't work for them. I'm a psychic reader. That's how I work. But you don't have to. For me, everybody has psychic abilities. You just use them or don't use them. Some of us close ourselves off to them because it's a little scary. And it's a popular, if oppressive, thought that it is of the occult. So, no, you don't have to be psychic to read tarot. It's about symbols. It's about understanding the story the cards tell you. So that's all you really need. Tarot myth number 5. You are doomed by what the tarot cards say. Dun, dun, dun. No, a falsehood. And a really dangerous one in my opinion. It gives you a lot of power to the reader if you go in with that attitude. So if you go to a tarot consultant who tries to tell you that the cards are set in stone, I want you to do 2 things. 1, laugh at them. And 2, get up and walk away and never go back. You're wasting your money because you're in charge of your own future. You're in charge of your destiny. Free will matters. A choice you make today splits off. So you've got different choices. So if I tell you today that your car is going to break down tomorrow, the smart person takes their car to the mechanic and gets it looked at, right? Or changes your pattern the next day so that you avoid those normal spots. All within your power. Think of them as a map on the journey to life. One thing I always say is if you're looking at a map and the road map and the map says bridge out ahead, what fool keeps driving? You pull over, you reroute. Same with tarot cards. That's really all it is. If something dire is in the future, you have all the tools that you need to make changes to redirect your energy. Redirect, redirect, redirect. That's what this is about. If a tower event is in front of you, you may not be able to completely avoid the eventual boom of the tower coming down, but you can negotiate it a little better because you have prior knowledge. So that's what I say. I tell people you can certainly start climbing down now so you don't have as far to fall. Tarot myth number 6. Only you can touch your cards. Again, personal choice, right? Some consultants prefer that. I tend to, if I'm out in public with people with many sticky hands who've been eating food and drinking, I'm like, give me my cards. I'll shuffle them for you. Maybe you can cut them. And I'll have hand wipes on the table. Wipe your hands off. These are my bread and butter, baby. I don't need you funking them up. So, again, totally personal choice. I do, in certain situations, let my clients shuffle and pull. And it really depends on me and how I'm feeling. So, I do cleanse and clear my cards. I'll do a video on how I do my cleansing and clearing. But it really is about you and how you perceive the energies. My tarot deck is mine. So if I want somebody to touch it, I can certainly allow them to do that. Tarot myth number 7. You must wrap your cards in black silk and hide them away. Yeah, you see all these not hidden? Yeah, that's what we're talking about, baby. It's, again, false. It probably has some basis in older times when people needed to hide them and you didn't want people to see them. Probably a practical teaching from the Dark Ages during witchcraft of that time where you didn't, you'd be a heretic, burned at the stake. Not worth it to be burned at the stake for 78 pieces of paper. Not in my book. when I wrote this, I said I have over 75 decks. Boy, was that a long time ago. I've got to date 412 decks. And I just learned I won a deck on a Kickstarter deck. Yay me! I can't wait. And if you aren't supporting the Orbifold Tarot, go to Kickstarter and look it up. Orbifold Tarot. And support it. It's going to be a neat, neat deck. Very unusual. I recommend it. We're still on Myth 7. You don't need to wrap them in black silk. You don't need to hide them. Again, personal preference. Some people want their stuff out of the way. Some people want their magical tools out of the mundane eye. Totally up to you, right? It's how you are. For me, I can't hide my decks because I'm doing readings all the time. I'd be going, wait a minute, I don't know where I buried this. Tarot myth number 8. You must receive the cards as a gift. I talked a little bit about this in an interview I did with another YouTuber. Hello, Ember. And we laughed about it because, I mean, I'd have the most generous friends in the world if I had, you know, as many decks as I did and they were all gifts. Now, if y'all feel a need to give me a deck, I'm okay with that. I will get over my personal, I don't even have personal prejudice. Gimme. But seriously, no, you do not need to receive them as a gift. This goes back to some Wiccan teachings about tools. And there's a big thing in Wicca about don't haggle for your tools. You don't say, you know, if they want $50 for something, you don't say, well, I'll give you 40. It cheapens the tool, so you don't want to do that. But not for tarot. There's nothing that says you have to receive them as a gift. And I don't even know where that one started. Certainly it didn't start with the sellers. They'd be going crazy. No, you can buy your own tarot deck. Tarot myth number 9. You should not read your own cards. Now, here's my deal on this one. There's a little bit of truth in this and a whole lot of not truth. You can read cards for yourself. I read them for myself all the time. You have to learn to get out of your own way. You know, we all read with expectation. Normal, basic human nature. You know, when you get up on Christmas morning, you've been telling them you want a pony, you go down looking for the pony. But you can read for yourself as long as you understand that you need to read the cards as they are and not as you want them to be. Does that make sense? You can't embellish. You can't keep pulling. A lot of people do that. Well, maybe they didn't understand the question. I'll re-ask the question. No, baby. They understood the question. The universe got it the first time. You just don't like the answer. I use tarot a lot for personal introspection and for meditation. I like to use cards just to go into and explore them. It's a technique from Mary Kay Greer's Tarot for Yourself. I'll put a link for that in the comments as well. Now, my links, if they go to Amazon, they're affiliate links. I want to be upfront with you about that, okay? Tarot myth number 10. The tarot is always right. No. And it'd be great if it were true, right? You could predict every little thing. Again, tarot predicts possibilities, points out tendencies, notes something's going, bridge out ahead. It's to help you make decisions in today and how you navigate your life. But it's not set in stone. It's not always right. You change your future the minute you look ahead. The minute you say what's going to happen tomorrow and you lay a tarot card out, well, you immediately start looking for that, so you kind of call it to you. It's kind of the law of attraction and the secret working in that way. So, nah, tarot's not always right. Tarot myth number 11. You must have set rituals to read properly. Key word here is properly. There's really no proper way to read tarot. You get to do it the way that works for you. I have rituals. And rituals to me are just that you do the same thing over and over for each reading, right? I get my deck out. I shuffle my deck while I'm talking to whoever I'm talking to, as we're getting to learn one another. You know, one another name, their date of birth, what hand they write with, if they've ever had a reading. I give them my spiel about how to spot a con artist, because I'm big on that. I hate con artists. Hate them. You know, and I cut the cards in a certain way. So, yeah, I have rituals. You don't have to have rituals. It's totally up to you. The only need for this is my own need to do things a certain way. So that's on me. That's not, you don't have to do it the way Arwen does it. Tarot myth number 12. There is only one way to interpret each card. Yeah, wouldn't it be nice if that were true? Tarot is a tool. It helps your intuition. This is how I read it. This goes back to the psychic part of me. Maybe the collective unconscious. I work with the Jungian method. Each card's meaning comes into play with a card next to it, right? So it can change it. The star next to the tower, the star next to the Nine of Cups. Totally different meanings that I'm going to see. I could be reading at a party, and this often happens. I'll read at parties and have the same cards show up over and over and over and over. Often it's because people tend to they work together, they're in the same group, so something is happening within the group. And the card can alter its meaning for each person. It's not the same. So I want you to be open to that, because it'll help you keep telling the story that tarot tells you. Remember, it's all about the story that tarot tells you. Our final myth. Myth, tarot, myth, number 13. The death card means somebody's gonna die. Can you guess my answer? No. It can mean physical death, sure. In my 30 years of reading, I've had it mean physical death twice, I think, that I can recall. And it was always about somebody else. It wasn't about the person I was reading for. So it's not one of the, again, not set in stone. Death is personal, painful change. It's not easy. It's transformative energy. It can feel like you're getting ripped apart. But it can be death like divorce, you know, and closing a door to something so firm that you're never going back, a death of something. This is one of the few cards that I will tell you change is unavoidable when this card shows up. You can negotiate it, but you know, you're going to have to deal with it on some level because it's simply coming. We'll talk a little more about how I see the major arcana and the minor arcana in another video. And until then, seek joy, y'all. Pass it on. Oh, I'm having an ember moment. The clicker thing won't work. I guess I'll just touch it with my finger.